Well, Merry Christmas to all out there. My brothers and sisters in the Lord, Merry Christmas. Well, I normally don't talk about this particular subject. It isn't something that I normally do on the platform. I like to be more of a minister, as the Lord has set me to do. And I'm no, uh, you know, um, authority on anything on this. I am not a perfect individual myself. I have my faults as well as any one of us do. But I thought what I would do here is take a moment and speak to the young modern women of America. And of course, this is for not just the women in America, but it's for women in general. Okay. My title is "A Glimmer of Hope for the Young Modern, or for the Modern Woman." So this covers not just young modern women, but it also would cover any modern woman, no matter what her age might be. Now, also, too, I need to speak from the standpoint of being a Christian man and living and believing and thanking God and walking in the Lord and what I know for as a basis. Um, as I have said before, I am not a perfect person. I am, I mean, I do my best to live as well as I can, but I have my faults. I admit that. So, but I'm a married man, and I've been married for a long time. I've been married for over 44 years. Um, my wife and I have learned a lot, grown together. We have our issues. But I'm making this because mostly what I see today, and particularly on YouTube, is there is a lot of talk about relationships, and women have a view have their viewpoints. Men have their viewpoints, women have their viewpoints, and it's an interesting conversation, and it's good this conversation exists because when people can talk intelligently or talk or even whatever, even if they don't agree, it's a good forum for you to learn, and I would suggest all of you, men and women, to learn as much as you can from the conversations that are out there because those conversations are important and they help us all to be better people, I believe. Okay, so having said that, I'm speaking as a married man. I'm speaking as someone who's had some experience being with someone for a long time. I'm speaking from that standpoint. I have three daughters myself, so I have um, a heart for all people, but I have obviously a tender spot for women, and but I just want to help women. I want to help everybody, but this, like I said, is really for young women, or for women, modern women. Um, you all have a view of the situation where you have been um, accurately, I'd say, lied to. You've been told that you need to focus your attention on your careers, you need to focus your attention on yourselves, and then, but ultimately, you do want to maybe get married, you maybe want to have kids, all of that stuff. And oh, and by the way, if you hear some screaming out there, that's my special needs daughter, sweetheart, little sweetie. Um, so if you hear that, that's what that's about. And what I want to say is that there are a lot of folks out there that are talking about this stuff, and they're right. Okay. So let me just say right off the bat, I agree with Kevin Samuels. I agree with Rollo Tomasi. I agree with Pearl. I agree with Allie. There's a lot of folks out there talking about this stuff, and a lot of them are right about a lot of things. But what I'm wanting to focus on is the fact that since you young gals or whatever have gotten to this place, you're here, okay? You're 25 plus, or you're 20 plus, or you're 19 plus. So you're here. You already are wherever you are. You've already made maybe mistakes. Or big mistakes. Some of you had a terrible past. Some of you have a tremendously high body count, all of that stuff. And so what I'm addressing as a married man and as my experience in the world is to try to give you some hope, because there have been a lot of things that you've done that have hurt your chances. And what I want you to know is that it is a repairable thing. Now, as a Christian, of course, the Lord will forgive us for anything we do. You know, it's not an excuse to mess up because God will forgive you. But because He's that way, and because He also instructs us as Christians to be that way, it's a wonderful thing when you think about it, that God erases your past and that the blood of Christ will eradicate that. And Lord knows we all need that one. But you young girls still are dealing with men, okay? And I'm not going to spend a lot of time telling you what you've already heard, okay? My point here is to give you, just to tell you something that you haven't heard. There's hope. So what I want to say here is that young ladies, women, okay, you need to be what God made you to be, okay? Remember, all of you, when you were born and as a little girl, and and then you got older, and then you became a young woman, and you automatically became beautiful. You didn't do anything to become beautiful, really. Even without all the makeup and everything, all of you are you come, you're like flowers. That's how I look at women in some ways. Is you're like flowers. You come up and you're these beautiful colors, or that's what you are. And it's not to say that men aren't similar in that young men come up and they also are good looking. We go, in other words, we all go through a period of being good looking, beautiful. And you young ladies, particularly for us as men, you're just absolutely, a lot of times, breathtakingly beautiful to us. What I want you to kind of stop and think about, young ladies, or old ladies, or whatever, there is, there are men all over the world, everywhere, that will take you just as you are. You don't have to be a 10. You don't have to be a 7. You don't have to be you can be what? You can be a 1. You can be a 1 through a 5. Okay, listen to what I'm saying now. Now, I don't think that, to be honest, I think that generally women are not 1s. I think you maybe start around 5 or whatever. And most everybody is like a 5 when they get to be, an adult, when they get to be that place where they would want to have a mate. So let's say the 5 is the lowest, okay? But I would say that the average girl, when she's, say, 18, 19, she's not a 5. She's probably a 7 and up, okay? And as you go, that you're competing. The probably is that you're competing with a younger woman, which you can't compete with. But what I wanted to say here is that you notice, do you notice, if you look across the broad spectrum of history, if you can take the time to research it, you're going to find that you've got men with all kinds of women and women with all kinds of men. All kinds of looking men, all kinds of looking women. All the women are not supermodels, all the men are not super handsome. Now you're going to have that small little group of people that are going to be really beautiful. And I know when I was growing up, there was always the really beautiful girl, there was always the really handsome guy. But those people were in the minority. They made up a very small percentage. Most people are average looking, okay? Men and women. And so what am I getting at? I'm getting at, women, there's hope for you. There's going to be a guy that's going to like you. But now here's the thing. It's your looks are given to you. You don't have to do anything to get those. And this is true, okay? And I'm going to say this. This is true no matter where you are in the spectrum. Even if you're now, say, a 30-year-old, 40, 50, 60. I've seen women in their 60s and stuff that are beautiful, okay? There's always going to be some guy out there that's going to think you're beautiful. Okay. So that's number one hope, okay? Even without makeup, there's guys that'll take you. Even marry you at older ages. So that's hope number one. Hope number two is up to you, ladies. In my opinion, as a married man, there is nothing more attractive to a man than a woman who is truly feminine. Okay? A woman who is truly feminine. A woman who is cooperative. Not an argumentative woman. Not a bossy woman. Not somebody who has to be right all the time. A woman who is agreeable. A woman, and and of course in our world we talk about submissiveness, and that is important, but, there's a two sides to that. Men are loving and submissiveness goes on both sides of the ledger. It's not just for women, I don't believe. And the word does bear this out, but nothing's more attractive to a man than a woman that plays that position of being feminine. God tells the man to love his wife as Christ loved the church. Okay. And most men will be happy with a woman, particularly if she is agreeable. That doesn't mean he sees she's not a doormat. Okay, I'm not saying that. She's not just doing everything. There is a respect. Okay. Ladies, one of the most important things to a man is respect. Your man might not be perfect. He might make all kinds of mistakes. But respect is very important to him. My wife and I have been married for 45 years, I believe, right now. And my wife is a good woman. And she's not perfect. And she doesn't always respect me. But for the most part, she has. For the most part, she has. We've had our bumps. We have our bumps right now. But I'm not leaving that woman. Because she's a good woman. I love her. She is the mother of our 3 daughters. She's a good woman. Not perfect, no. And I'm not going to sit here and talk about I don't need to, you don't need to know my business anymore than I've already told you. But point that I'm making is, now my wife is a beautiful woman. Now, I'm not going to lie. My wife, when I met her, she was wow, and she's still wow. I'm 67 and my wife is the same age. She's younger than me, but only by a few weeks. So, I don't think it matters to some men how old you are if you're agreeable. Now, sometimes men want to have children, And here's something else. Even some of you ladies who already have kids by other men. Now, that's a big mistake. There's a lot of men that don't want that problem, and of course, and well understandable. Because part of being a man and being in this position is he's looking for. We have a certain responsibility as men, and when you have to take on somebody else's kids. Now, I've never been in that situation, and I'll be honest with you, I never would be in it. Okay. I would not marry. That's just me. I wouldn't marry a woman that has kids already because I don't think I'd have any authority over those kids, and I think that could create a problem right there. However, I have a friend right now. I won't say his name, but I have a friend right now. He's fine with marrying a woman that's got kids, and I tell him, I say, my hat's off to you, bro. I wouldn't do it. But see, what I want ladies to know is there are men that will do it. Now, what I want you to do as women, you need to do the job whatever mistake you've made up to now. Okay, you made that mistake. Go to God, get forgiveness. The blood cleanses that, and move forward. Okay? What did God say to Mary Magdalene? He said, go and sin no more. Well, even some of you women who have gotten into, some shady stuff sexually. And hey, we all do it. Okay? Even that. God forgives you, cleanses you from it. That's good. and you go forward from there. See, there's hope. Think about it like this, ladies. The world is a big place. It's a big place. So just because you're not meeting somebody right now that is in your scope of existence doesn't mean that there isn't somebody somewhere that will take you just like you are. Okay? But what you want to do is you want to get yourself straight in terms of how you're going to relate to the man. You need to be agreeable. You need to be feminine. You need to be agreeable, you know, and respectful of that man. And you also need to inspire the man. That's another one. You know, nothing. I mean, that's an awesome one. Just to have inspiration. You know, I would think that an inspiring wife could turn her man into a Superman. I've said this before. Yeah. A lot of the problems that we have today, I think, when relationships is just that people aren't training. They aren't getting any training. Men don't have good role models. Men aren't trained. Men are raised in environments where they don't have male figures to train them. And women getting all the wrong advice. And so we got this messy situation. But thank God we can correct it if we're willing to correct it. I just mainly, and I'm going to wrap this up, I just mainly wanted to give you ladies hope. It's not hopeless. Yeah, some of you have painted yourself into a very, very bad corner, and you don't want to be there, okay? And it's not good for you. But you can get out of it if you want to get out of it. But you need to be feminine. You need to respect the man. You know, you need to be agreeable, work, inspirational. And Kevin Samuels, was rough, okay, but he was right. I pretty much agree with most of what he said. He was never easy on you ladies, particularly you sisters. And let me just tell you something. Now, I'm married to, my wife is Norwegian. She's white, yes. Beautiful woman, lovely Christian woman, love her very much. But I tell you right now, as a black man, a lot of you sisters, a lot of you beautiful sisters, y'all beautiful. You're beautiful, okay? Let me say that again. A lot of you sisters, you're beautiful. You are very beautiful. And most of us black men would be happy to be with some of you. However, y'all got a bad attitude, and you need to stop doing that. Okay? This is a married man's opinion, okay? That's all I'm saying. You do what you want. But it's not because my brother here, who I was talking about, who said he'd take a woman with kids. He's a brother like me. He complains about, he wants to talk to his sisters, and they don't give him the time of day. And he's a decent looking guy. He got a good job, he's a good, just a good responsible guy. He's divorced. His wife, he was married to a sister and had two beautiful children. And, she kind of took him around the bend, sadly, but he's a good guy. And he would like a sister. Talked about it a bit. Now, the women that he's talking to now are not black. They're white women primarily. But the point I'm making is there are people out there that want you girls. No matter what you look like, you don't have to be perfect. They'll take you. Now, I think a lot of you, particularly some of you big girls, I think you might want to just try to be a little healthier than you are. You say, oh, that's the part calling the kettle black. Look at you, you big. Yeah, I am. I wasn't always big. And in fact, when I got married, I was not big. And I'm sure that's why my wife loved me, because I wasn't big. And do I need to improve myself? Yes, I do. So I'm not going to sit here and say that. I'm just as advice. Do what you want. You got a lot of brothers that like the big girls. Why not? This is what I say. The world is a big place. Okay. Just want to give you some hope. It's not game over. Okay, for you ladies. If you're willing to change your attitude, change your mouth, Change the way you talk to men. And get on God's program and crack open that Bible and see what it has to say. And talk to older, successful women who've been married for a long time to the same man. And I'm telling you, you're going to get some information that you sorely need. And hopefully it'll open the door to men coming into your life, and maybe some of you, even older women, might find yourself married again. And you might not be able to have children. Maybe you can adopt some or something, but you could be happy. You could be with a man that loves you and you love him, and everything could be great. Some of you women who baby mamas, and you've had 2 or 3 guys, you can start your life over if you want to. But you're going to have to respect your man. If you get a man and he's willing, you're going to have to let him discipline your children. Yeah, you're going to have to respect him. You're going to have to talk to them kids. You're going to have to let them know this is daddy, and back him up. Make sure you get a good man. Don't just get somebody. But I'm just telling you, okay, women, gals, please don't get too mad at me about this. I'm not the absolute authority. I'm just putting in my 2 cents, okay? Do what you want. It's just that I wanted to say that there's hope. Men, we are way more tolerant when it comes to looks and things about you all than you all are about us. When you look at the guys you say are simpy like, and hey, I understand because I've been there. I'm not there thankfully anymore, but I used, and married men generally, we are having to, a lot of times it isn't the best situation for us because, you know, but doing things God's way always works the best. I'm just saying that for you young modern women, you're pushing guys away with your attitude, the way you're acting. And you shouldn't do that. Not if you want to be happy. If you want to be by yourself or whatever, you don't care, you don't need us, well, then fine. But if you want to go somewhere, you want to get in a relationship, and you want to be happy, maybe this will be helpful to you. I don't know. All right. Well, that's all I'm going to say about this for now. I pray you all have a beautiful Christmas holiday. I pray that you be safe. And also, I pray that you come to know the Lord as I have. I said this because I care about you. I love you. And remember, Jesus is Lord.